Hello and good day to everyone that is truly tuning in here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. I'm going to be once again the host for today's episode. My name is Wayne, and with me today is Aljonmar. I guess I can call you Aljon for short, or Mar. How do I call you, man?
You can call me AJ. Yeah,
Okay,
AJ.
that's a lot better. AJ.
AJ.
AJ, nice to have you here at the show, and hopefully you're having an amazing day. Oh, I
Yeah,
think.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
How
sorry
are you
because
doing on your shift today? Hopefully you're not too sleepy, you're not too tired, and everything.
yeah, I'm not because I already used to it. So yeah, so I'm sorry because you know that I'm kind of bit of nervous because it was my first
All
time
good, all
to
good. Okay.
yeah,
I'm
participate
kind of
in this
nervous too,
guy.
actually. I'm just talking loudly, but I'm also nervous. I'm kidding. I can't be nervous. I'm the host.
All right.
So, Aljanma, my first very important question for you: what was the last thing that you've eaten? That you've ate?
We call it like a uh pork, something is sour pork, something like
Mm,
that with a tamarind
sinigang.
flavor. Sinigang. Yeah, we call it
Sinigang. Oh yeah,
sinigang.
that's the best gang. Best gang
Mm.
sinigang. Oh man, I miss eating sinigang. I like the sour soup, and it's of course we always eat it
Yeah,
with rice and with a side of fish sauce and some spice,
yeah.
chili. I don't know the dipping sauce, the sausawan. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry just
Sinigang is
by
the
thinking.
best. Yeah.
And congratulations on eating such an amazing meal before your shift. I think you're more than good to go to survive the rest
Yeah.
of the shift, and of course the interview as well. So
Hmm.
okay, so now I'm kind of curious now on what background did you have before, like before becoming a VA? What were you doing in your life?
Oh, about that. I was a like a we call it like a videographer, and also like a part-time photographer also because I was graduated with like Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management, but that is only my desire because I believe that what I really my passion is doing video edits, video records, something like that. So yeah, so it's already my skill or something a
Okay.
talent for me before
So
I
what you were studying is engineering, correct?
yeah, engineering.
I see. I mean, that is interesting because you took up engineering and you finished it, right? You didn't
Yeah,
like you didn't flunk
I
it.
finished it.
So you
Yeah.
finished it. But at which point in engineering, while you're studying as an engineer, were you thinking like, okay, I'm doing engineering, but I actually wanted to do video editing in the future? Or was it after you graduate when you thought about that?
Actually, it was the main like supporting when it comes to supporting my studies. So like side hustles doing while studying. So as a freelance videographer and something a video editor or photographer. Since I think it's already 7 years I've been serving to our church as multimedia, head of our multimedia, something like that, or a volunteer video editor to our church. So
That's
yeah.
good. I mean, it's good that you're doing your church duties. I mean, of course, to the
Mm-hmm.
God, yeah, to your religion, of course, and your
Hmm.
community there is amazing, and it's also good. Maybe it's God's way for you to sway you in the career path that you've had. He given you that
Yeah.
beauty as in multimedia, and now this is what's making you live. Basically, you're enjoying it, from what I can see. You never consider though, like when you were still studying engineering, to switch to a multimedia course, or you were just okay, I don't want to spend money to switch, I don't want to waste all the units that I have in college.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, to be honest, it was our, we call it like our spiritual father, our pastor, to encourage us, especially me, to encourage us to like try work from home and doing like a virtual assistant. So yeah, I tried it, and then yeah, there we go. Here I
And
go
it's the
right now.
best, right? It's the best working from home,
Mm,
not needing
yeah,
to
the
go
best.
out every day, enduring at least 2 3 hours traffic if you're living in Manila. Yeah,
Mm,
it's the best,
yeah,
basically.
101% comfortable.
Yes, exactly. It is a blessing for a lot of people who enjoy working at home to have this kind of job. And yeah, I guess in a way that is the blessing that you got as well from doing, yeah, serving your church or your belief in God, of course. And I
Yeah.
would like to ask now, so how long, okay, after graduating, you were already, even while studying, you were studying, you were also doing some video editing in the side. So right after graduating, are you still doing some video editing, or did you try at least your work as an engineer? Try to get a work as an engineer, or yeah.
Actually, I tried to, to pass some like job application on some businesses here, especially here in our city, because there are a lot of, we call it a plant, something, an operation, like we call it like a whole sim, that the Miko, and then that, so I already passed uh some, job application, but I don't know, but I didn't make it. I don't know why. So I tried also some, like we call it, I became a credit investigator or something like that on a specific company.
Is it
And
in BPO?
nope, not
Oh,
on
just
BPO.
credit investigator in a different place.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's connected to being an engineer, but
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, I just, if that kind of attitude after you graduate, you're just,
Mhm.
just doing like a mass job,
Yeah, you need
applying
to pay
to,
the bills.
even
You
if
just,
not.
you don't get to choose the job you want. You get to choose
Mm,
the job that wants you. So
something like
that's the
that.
thing
Yeah,
that you got. But
yeah,
somewhere
exactly.
along the way, you were able to get a video editing job as a VA. And what
Mm.
was the journey? How were you able to get this VA job as a video editor?
Yeah, so before yeah, I think so. Before I apply on Sprocket, so I have this part-time job also, like working from home also. Just only a part-time. They're just, sending me some videos, and I edit it for a week, and then I don't know, maybe I stop it because it's already conflict with my study. So I decided to stop it and then focus on some side hustles locally only, because I can, schedule my, like, I'm flexible when it comes to accepting some bookings. So yeah, I stopped that as the part time, working, foreign clients, and that. And then yeah, so I decided again, like, because after I get married, so last 2019, yeah, 2019, I got married, and then God gave us a beautiful daughter last year, 2021, and then I decided to work from home again and tried, yeah, like what I said earlier, our pastor encouraged us to apply, something like that. And then so I did it. We go, actually, before I to challenge myself to apply again as virtual assistant, our pastor sent us to a specific city to have a special training when it comes to like how to become a virtual assistant, and like that, especially for me, for graphic designing and video editing. So after that, a 10-day training, and then so after we finish the training, we decided directly to apply Sprocket. So, and then the Sprocket, it's an answered prayer for me, because they accept me, perhaps of something like my background, something like that, even though, let's say a beginner when it comes to handling full-time jobs.
Yes. And I
Mm-hmm.
guess the stars aligned in terms of how you were able to get this job. Because, first of all, you're an engineering graduate.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the main experience that you've had is prior to having like actual clients is, from your church that you were doing some multimedia, like a volunteer for that.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it as a
Yeah.
volunteer, but the experience you've had that is really priceless. And without that, I think you wouldn't get this freelance job as a video editor, and most importantly, you wouldn't get this job as a regular
Yeah.
in Surround.
Yeah.
So it's destiny, perhaps.
Yeah.
Really accounted to anything, because if you didn't do that, probably you'll be on a different path. And I think
Mm-hmm.
you already have an awesome path or a career path, because as you mentioned, you just had your daughter, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really crucial for you to spend as much time as you can with your daughter. Not like
Yeah.
you're just gonna see your daughter every night after you go home, and your daughter is probably gonna be sleeping. But now, if you want to see your daughter, I don't know, just stand up.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
there,
So
and it not only makes your job better, but it also makes your work life balance and your family closer. So I think your
Mm-mm.
pastor did a good job because, of course, the well being of your family should be
Mm.
important as well. I mean, God first, family, and of course, your work are like one of the three priorities. So
Yeah.
good job on that.
Yeah.
And in terms of the process of getting hired as a VA with Sphere Rocket, was it fast for you, or were you first getting rejections until you got it? Can you tell us more about that?
Um, the first, I think the first interview, I was like just one interview, and then they emailed me like that I passed the initial interview, and then the second interview with the, I think the second interview with some other, part of the sprocket. They asked me some specific questions, and then I answered it honestly, and then I pass it. Then they email me, I mean, to have the final interview, but with the clients uh, already. So I was interviewed by several clients, and then some of them, rejected me because I don't have a good, you know, good output, something like that, good, mm, yeah, videos that I presented, something I present to them during that interview. So it was always a late night, so like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. or 1, something like that. But I always pray for it that Lord just, you know, Lord just give me the best client for me. And like that. So God is so good. They give me this team, especially Sir Jeremy Smith and Mom Vanessa Smith. They are so good. They are answered prayer. So right now I'm almost 2 years with them. So it was my first client, and I'm almost 2 years with them. So currently working with them and trying my best with them
Yes, first of all,
for them.
congratulations. Congratulations. 2 years is long, especially if you've spent in the client. So that means that you're doing a great job, basically. And who would have thought? Probably when you're first starting out, you're not sure how long you're going to be keeping this job. And of course, you mentioned you already had some, you've also have some failed, application because you didn't
Mm,
think that your output was good enough. But you definitely work harder so that you will be worthy of having
yeah.
this client. And now you finally have this client. So 2 years working with a client. How's the experience working with them? Is it like compared to
Yeah.
doing
So
freelance work? How
during
is it like
my
working for them?
my first year was so amazing also. Up until now, still amazing, and I believe that all I can say is this client that I have right now is their answered prayer for me. So because they are so good, not just only that, they are ensuring that that we're not just only doing our jobs, but we are also learning during our working time, something like that. And then because we have a huddle every day, so every day we have a huddle like around, yeah, at 8 a.m. EST time, and then there are some questions during that huddle, so we learn how to think fast during for that question, and then we realize something like that, and there are some nuggets from Sir Jeremy and the team. So we learn and just only do, yeah, it's a blessing because we're not just doing our job, and we are also learning. So during my first year, it's was like a nurturing for me, something that they treated me like a not just only a worker or an employee, because like a son, something like that. So because they're sharing
Family,
every,
like kind of
yeah,
family
like
in a
a
way, yeah.
family. So a family, something like that. And I also treat them as our, not just only a boss or something, a leader, but a part of a family. And then because they're, every time I have a problem, so I do not hesitate to tell them also openly towards them, and then they will just message me as something positive feedback with my problem. So answered prayer clients, so the best.
Definitely. And what's amazing is that because you are so connected and you respect your boss so much and that kind of
Mm,
bond, that means that you would be more excited. You would be more productive. You wanted to give out the best for your employer. And of
yeah,
course,
for
your
them.
employer, seeing how hard
Mm.
you're working, they're going to reward you. So it's like a mutual, good working relationship. And yeah.
Yeah,
And
actually, last I I think last year, so they promote me as team leader, VA team leader, something like that. Not just only video editor or marketing assistant, but a team leader also. So
Yes.
looking forward for
Work
that,
hard for that. You
this year.
deserve that, you know?
Yeah.
And definitely, maybe it is the guidance that you got to this client. Maybe the first client that you got rejected is probably not for you. You know what they say?
Mm.
Rejection is doesn't mean a failure. Maybe rejection is just a redirection
Yeah,
to a better
I wanted to share also that before, actually there is a trial test that was given to me for, not for them, not for the Smith family, but because I got two, I think two interview. So like 1 a.m. for this specific client with the trial test. So I did that trial test, and then I attended first the interview with Mom and Sir Smith. So that trial test saw with my client right now. They love it. So they told me that I love this kind of editing. So they actually, just fast. They already send me like, I'm good with them, something like that. And then I didn't expect it because I edit that trial task for the next interview, not for them, something like that. But they hire me. So yeah, that's why I always tell that it's an answered prayer client.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to attribute it to you. Of course, you did your work, it's tough, but maybe some higher power above there came to play in getting you the work that you have right now. And
Mm.
now that you're working as a VA, what do you think is like the best in terms of remote working remotely and working for your employer?
I think the best is, I'm sorry. Can we cut this? I'm sorry. Uh what was the question? Like,
Yeah, so what do you think is the best thing that you enjoy most working for your client?
Alright, so okay. So for me, definitely the learnings. So I enjoy the learnings because yeah, every day I receive and nuggets. I receive always a word. I receive always an encouragement. Every day the learnings, the positive, the collaboration, the good communication, something like that. So I think that is the best. Uh, what I enjoyed most.
Definitely. I think the best kind of boss is not the one boss that will give you easy tasks to do and still pay you or give you
Mm,
freedom, but it's the boss that you're going to learn a lot from. Like
yeah.
it's beyond like that because sure your job will be easier, but of course you always need to strive to make yourself better career wise or
Mm-hmm.
maybe even life advice, and that's definitely an amazing boss if you're lucky enough to have that kind of boss that actually cares more than how you do your job but how you're going to live your life better. And
Yeah.
you're lucky to have that kind of person.
Mm,
And now, AJ, I think a lot of people are really wanting to have a job as a VA. Of course, you get to work at home. That's pretty much it. You can work anywhere as long as you have
mm.
internet and a laptop. But it's really competitive. You need to work hard extra to make sure that you're better than the others. So, for yourself, what do you think was your edge? What do you think was the main reason that your client hired you for this position back then?
Uh, they always told me that I'm always positive, and then that I'm always positive. And also, Mom Vanessa always told me that I'm silly one, and just only, not too serious, something like that. And then I'm so uh yeah, that the main word, I think I'm so positive. That's why I up until now I'm working with them and doing my best. So I think that is my, yeah, every day I'm doing my best.
Yes. I mean, they definitely see the effort, and of course, they're gonna enjoy a more happier work environment. It's not just like people just in front of the computer just doing like this every day. But yes, it's more fun to work in a more fun environment where it's not like
Mm,
robots
yeah,
working
yeah.
24/7 or something, but actual people that you can get to interact with and bond with.
Mm.
And what would be your advice to potential VAs that wanted to be in this line of work so they would have a better shot in getting accepted or hired in a VA position? What's your advice for them?
First is pray for it, and believe that they're always for you or something. They're always right time for you, and then that. So pray and believe that they're always for you. I mean, client, and then that, and then just believe God, because God will give you if you whatever you ask towards Him.
So lots of prayer and yeah, faith basically will help you.
Mm.
But of course, you couldn't just pray and not do anything. You need to do
Yeah,
something for
the
yourself
skill.
as well. You can't just pray to be the best, I don't know, best graphic designer or best video editor and then you would just sleep and just pray every day not doing anything. You need to
Mm.
prove that you have that
Yeah,
strength.
I just love this quote that it says that it is not your fault if you are born in poverty or broke. It is your fault, or uh mm, yeah, it is your fault if you died with the same situation and like that. So that's the main thing for me. So we need to do something aside
Hmm.
from praying, because we believe that uh faith without works is dead. So
Yes, that is true. I couldn't agree more.
mm,
Sure, it might seem unfair for a lot of people. Like many people are born rich, born
mm,
poor. They just have different starting lines. But in the end of the day, that rich person that was born rich could easily be poor when he died. Of course, at the same time, the poor guy that was born poor could be rich as he grow. It's about the decisions, what he do during the entirety of his life, which will make him like whoever he is in the present or in the future. So
yeah,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm always telling myself that if I'm doing the same thing every day, I will expect the same result. So it means like what Albert Einstein says. I just love that quote that if we are doing the same thing, expect the same result. So it means like if you want new things, then do new things.
that is the scientific method. If you wanted to have a different output, of course, you need to do something different. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same day. And
Mm,
yeah, lots of knowledge as well from you, AJ. I think that's one of
mm,
the effects of having your employer being that
yeah.
kind of person who always gives you nuggets of knowledge from
Mm,
in a daily or a regular basis. So
mm.
before we continue on, we're gonna hit it off with a short commercial break, and we will be back after.
Ever dreamed of swapping your hectic office for a comfy home workspace? At Sphere Rocket VA, we make that dream a reality. Say goodbye to rush hours and hello to remote work. Enjoy more time with family, more time for yourself, all while building your career. Interested? Apply now at www.spherejobs.ph.
And we are back at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network with your host, truly. My name is Wayne, and with me today is Aljonmar, or AJ for short. He's a video editor, and he has been sharing us nuggets of knowledge throughout the entirety of this podcast, and we do appreciate that. And hopefully, our viewers, our listeners, our audience are also learning a lot of things from this podcast. And on this latter part of the episode, AJ, let's talk more about your company or your clients. So you've talked about how great they are, especially in giving you life lessons and everything for everyone. So what kind of business do they actually do, and which areas do they operate on?
Yeah, so they are on a real estate. So they're selling, buying houses and something like that. So my main thing is, but what I do every day is, yeah, exactly, editing videos with Sir Jeremy. So with their talking heads. Actually, right now we're doing the podcast also. I'm editing their podcast, which is, yeah, please subscribe the How to Real Estate podcast. Visit the How to Real Estate podcast. There are a lot of, you know, nuggets there. So they are not just only talking about real estate on their podcast, but they're talking, yeah, like what I said, a lot of nuggets in
Okay.
life.
What is
Yeah,
name? What's it?
the How to Real Estate podcast.
Okay. And your
How to
employer, what is his name?
Jeremy Smith.
Jeremy Smith, I am inviting you at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. I think you have a lot of nuggets to share. I would like to
Mm,
learn from you. I would love to hear your story, and hopefully, you will have the time to join us here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. Sorry, that was
yeah.
direct. I can see from you like how much knowledge you've actually accumulated from
Mm,
him, and I think he can also share a lot of things here for our audience here at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. So, yeah, hopefully, we'll see you
mm.
in some of the future episodes that we have here, Jeremy.
Yes.
And yeah, and AJ, maybe you wanted to have any shout outs as well for your co-employees, co-workers.
Yeah. So actually, we uh three of us from Spur Rocket working as VA with Sir Jeremy and the Smith team. They are residing on the to be specific in DFW. So I shout out with my co-workmates from Spur Rocket also with which is Cha, a client specialist, and John, the like ISA. So yeah, one thing also I just love aside from having a good uh, employer, which is Sir Jeremy and Vanessa Smith, I got also a good and very they're always helping me uh workmates, something like that. So a Filipino workmates, they are helping me. We're just helping each other. That's why I think Cha is almost like 1 year also last, and then John is coming celebrating this year his first year also. So shout out to Cha and John, and then of course the whole team, the whole family of the Smith team, and all their state agent of the DFW Smith team. Shout out and our crossover city church
Yes,
from
of course.
Ligan City, to our pastor
Yes.
Bayani Ariola and Pastora Jujiong Ariola, and to
Yes.
all
Without their
leaders out
guidance,
there.
without the opportunity they gave to you to start off in a multimedia, you wouldn't be here. They're a
Yeah,
huge part of your journey. So huge shout out to them as well.
shout out.
Experience can come from anywhere. Like
Mm,
could be from your school, from your church. Actually, I personally have a similar story. I was just doing some volunteer work as a radio host for a church, and before I knew it,
mm,
I'm doing a podcast in reality. So yeah, we have a similar story, and I didn't know that what I was doing as a volunteer would end up being my career as something. So always, if you have an opportunity to learn, just because it's not in a work environment doesn't mean that you wouldn't be able to learn something from it. So you
mm,
need to always, you know, be resourceful, and as much as you can not take advantage. Okay, maybe take advantage is the word. Take advantage of all the resources. It could be from your friends that watch YouTube videos, attend webinars. Knowledge is everywhere. You just need to have that initiative to get that
mm,
knowledge. You can't just sleep and pray and expect to be the best, video editor. As I mentioned earlier, you needed to actually work for it and have the effort for it. So
yeah.
I think would be our episode for today. AJ, you've been an amazing guest, and for everyone that is listening, who knows? Maybe you'll be the next, VA I'll be interviewing. So strive hard to keep on applying for this VA job, and hopefully you'll be the next guest at the Sphere Rocket Podcast Network. So AJ, that is our episode for today, and we'll see you again on the next episode here at Sphere Rocket. Goodbye, everyone.
Do you want to apply as a Sphere Rocket virtual assistant? Well, look no further because this video is for you. I will be telling you which requirements you will need to submit in order to apply to our new website, plus a few tips and tricks to help you with your initial interview. We have achieved a better way for you to send in your application, so let's begin. Step 1. Visit our website
at www.spherejobs.ph.
Step 2. Fill in the application by inputting your full name, email, number, and other questions that you will need to answer in order to move on to the next step. Step number 3, send screenshots of your updated CV, Tony Robbins PDF result, internet speed screenshot with a minimum of 10 Mbps, a scanned copy of your government ID, and your portfolio with sample works. Step 4, click the submit button and wait patiently for our email. Now here are some tips on how to stand out during your initial interview. Tip number 1, dress up as if you were going to an in-person interview. Wearing something formal will give the interviewer a sign that you are serious about applying to this job role. Tip number 2, find a quiet space where your interview will be held. There's nothing worse than getting distracted by the noise around you and not being able to understand what the interviewer is saying. Tip number 3, be yourself and show up as confidently as you can. Know what you bring to the table and honor your worth. Interested in becoming a part of our team? Submit your application now
At www.spherejobs.ph.
Good luck!